Hello, everyone. It's Matt. Nope, it's Friday. That's what I meant to say. It's Friday. It's Chat with Mac. We're glad to have you. Thank you for all of you that look at us every week. We appreciate your feedback. We really appreciate your viewing of our little show. And for those of you that are new to what we do, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, boss man, it's another week, and the year is quickly ending. We're getting ready to head into August, and before you know it, man,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. And I've said this before, somebody told me that as you get older, time moves faster.
It's this not a joke. It's
Yeah,
not
it
a joke
does.
at all. It does. So speaking of, coming up to the end of the year, one of the things that you've been very uh, vocal about is having a process, an IT process down and understood as far as the small business is concerned. And what I've noticed in my calls, especially when it comes to talking to the main decision maker, the owners, they have a tendency to push that off on someone else and really don't know what that process is. So I was hoping you can really speak to, this, talk about the process of IT and how it can impact negatively or positively the business.
So let me put it this way. IT service is just like any other business.
Yeah.
First, let me tackle this. The reason why most CEOs don't want to deal with it because they don't want to deal with IT. They are not technical people. They know their business very well. That's what they want to focus on. They don't want to focus on IT. That's understandable. It's not their job to understand IT and its processes. It's the IT, the CIO or the IT admin or the MSP's job to figure all that out. Now, let me go back to what I mean by this. I was in college, and this was a history professor, and don't even ask me how it came about. Maybe he was economics professor, but I think it was history professor. Anyway, so he said, "What is the success for McDonald's?" He asked this question in the class. Why is McDonald's successful? Right? So he asked us, he was like, do they have a good product? I mean, is their burger one of the best? No.
No.
Not a lot of people like McDonald's, right? He said their success is that even though it's not the best burger, but that burger is consistent no matter which McDonald's you go to around the world. That's their secret to success. And he says, if you're running a business and if you can standardize your process, you will be successful. It's all about standardizing processes, right? Everybody has access to the same talent pool. Everybody has access to the same tool set. I mean, all of these things are the same. What's different? Your process. That's what's different. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why at PCSN, we try to make everything into a process. We try to break it down, make it into a process. The idea behind this is if you have a good process in place that everybody follows, then it doesn't matter who works on a project, the end result will be the same. So it doesn't matter if it's Joe, John, or Jane, the end result is the same, right? Now, of course, there are customers who will still, they'll call in and they'll say, hey, can I speak with Nadeem? Just because they know me.
Right.
But whether I deliver the project or anybody else in the company delivers the project, it's the same outcome. It's the same experience. It's because of that process. And process is one of those dynamic living things. It's not like you put it in place one time and then it's done. You have to tweak it over time. You have to make little changes. The marketplace changes, the industry changes, the technology changes. There's things changing all the time. So we have to make sure that we hone in that process really well, and then we keep ahead of that change curve. And that's really what we try to do at PCSN, is to make sure that we have everything written, documented. It's a process. You it's like flipping burgers. 1, 2, 3. That's all it is. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then we can give the same result to everybody that we manage. And that's the secret to business. I think any business that um, I was just talking to a prospect a few days ago. He's in the manufacturing business, and I it just came up, and he was like, that rings so true with me that this is how you guys do it. And he used this word. He was like, I've interviewed 2 other companies, and from the interview, it appears like you guys are world class. That's the word he used. He was
I
like,
love that.
you guys are world class. And it kind of rang with me because that same word is what we use when we have our so we have a peer group, all MSPs from all around the world are members of this, and the goal for this peer group is to make sure that every member is a world class MSP.
Yeah.
And it just rang with me so well, and I was like, it's funny that you use that word. I mean,
Right. Right.
but yeah, I mean, the other guys were, like somebody who started and they're just, they don't have any process in place. They're just doing things. They'll put things in place, and then sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. There's no process for training. There's nothing, right? Um, and there's no process for onboarding users or offboarding or onboarding customers. There's no TAM checklist. Like we have a huge, like I think it's like, I don't know, over 470 points on our technology alignment manager list, and that's our secret sauce, and we guard that very closely. They didn't even do that. They don't even talk about TAM. They don't even talk about VCIO. And when I told them that these are the roles that any MSP has it, whether they know it or not, they have to have it. And this is what makes MSPs proactive, the TAM and the VCIO. And it just clicked with him, and he understood. And so my next question was, I always put the budget numbers out, right? I always mention that. Just it's almost like, some people call it a trial close or in sales or whatever you want to call it. I just want to make sure that the customer expectation is aligned. So I'll tell them. And I was like, look, Mr. Customer, right now you're spending this much with your current provider. And he gave me the numbers. And I was like, if you go with us, it was a little over twice the amount of what they're paying right now. So I just want you to know what you're getting into, before we go down this path too far. And he was like, that doesn't scare me. That's no problem. I see that your price is going to be high, and I expect that because your service is at such a high level. And that's where it's at, is you can't charge for a Toyota Corolla and expect a Ferrari. It's just not going to happen, right? And I don't think anybody will pay the price of a Ferrari for a Toyota Corolla.
But the funny thing, Nadeem, is it's rather unfortunate that what you described is the unfortunate mindset of a lot of business owners as it pertains to IT. And I've noticed that where when and I think you've noticed it when you've been out on visits and you explain PCSN's process and how we do things, and they're like, they kind of look at what they currently have and they're like, my guy isn't doing any of this. And then you tell them the price. You can't really balk at the price because you see the process. We've telling you the process. The other guys more than likely just give you a few ancillary notes and that's it. And you're like, well, yeah, for what I'm paying, that makes sense. So, and I can't stress this enough, and the dean can't stress this enough. With what's been going on, as far as the IT landscape and the business being hacked, and I just don't feel like you can afford to have that type of yeah.
Many times, like customers will explain that they're having these issues, their machines breaking, they're not getting support. I mean, this one guy told me that his current IT provider cannot connect to their machines, and I'm like, in this day and age, they're managing these. How are they managing machines? So my question to him was, well, if they can't connect to the machines, so that means they're not monitoring these machines.
Right.
So that means you have no security component in your IT services at all. And I told him, look, all these issues that you're experiencing, the low response times, the 20 or some odd tickets a day. It was a fairly good sized company. And all these issues that you're having, these are not the problem. They're just the symptom of a problem. The problem is much deeper.
Yeah.
The problem is your MSP's process is broken, or they don't have a process. And that what we kind of figured out is that they didn't have a process. Their process was something breaks, you call us. That's it. They're not doing anything else. They're not monitoring. They're not sending them alerts. They're not, monitoring event logs. There's nothing. So it's like, well, in this day and age, especially when it comes to security, that's a no-go. That is not going to work. Security is such a proactive thing that you have to do on a routine basis. Now, like I tell people, the bad guys, they only have to win once, right? They only have to get in once. The good guys, they have to win every time, because the bad guys get in once and the damage is done. So the good guys have to win every time, and the bad guys, they only have to win once. The odds are stacked against the good guys as it is. So there it is. You have to have your processes down. You cannot do IT without a good process.
And I think the biggest thing is what I've seen with a lot of businesses that don't have a process, and this is something I actually heard this week, where they'll say, I've been doing this 25 years and we're okay, and the way we have it has been okay. We've had no problems, and I told one guy this week, I said, you know what you know, and that's fine. Well, but what is it that you don't know, that you haven't encountered, that's lurking? And he kind of stopped. I know that it got real silent. I said, hello? And he said, yeah, you know what? Shoot me an email with your information and your company's information so I can learn more. So, I'm trying to think of the proper term. It's almost like a lulling to sleep that a lot of business owners have, because they don't have a process, but they don't know what's wrong. It's like that internal hemorrhaging that you don't know it's happening, but it's happening.
It's almost like, that one example that I use, and this was an actual real life example, where the guy said, oh, no, everything is fine. We don't have any problems. We don't need any help. We're good. And talking to him over time, found out that, he had, within the last 30 days, he had a breach of credentials. So, and I was like, well, you just said that everything is fine. You don't need any help. And you just had a breach within the last 30 days. That does not work. I mean, that doesn't go together. There's something wrong here. And he was like, oh, yeah, we've had a breach, but everybody has a breach. And I was like, no, everybody doesn't have a breach. But yeah, so guys, if you are doing IT in-house, make sure you have a good process, make sure you have a good checklist for the TAM, and make sure your CIO is translating that tech that comes in from the TAM into business terms, so you can make sure that IT is not just a cost center. If you're looking at IT as a cost center, you have the wrong perspective.
Yes, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
So I think, Mac, with that, we'll call it a day. It's it's going to be a good week, and don't want to take a lot of time. And I know I haven't been creating, doing a lot of videos, but I'm getting back on track. I'm going to start making, get back to routine.
It's been busy. I've been in Chicago going on it's almost a full month. I fly back to Houston next week. So, trying to get back in the routine of being home and working. So, I mean, it's been a lot for everyone. I mean, it's been busy, and it looks like it looks like coming up from just my calls, it looks like it's going to get real busy now. People are shoring up. Yeah.
So everybody have a great day, and be safe out there. Have a good one, Mac.
All right. Hey, Glenn, have a good one.